So all eyes are on the Gulf as we await Barry's arrival, expected to make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. We'll have more on that in a few minutes from KATC meteorologist Daniel Phillips. But first, Mary Laurent with SLEMCO joins us as they prepare for the storm. Mary, thank you for joining us today.
No problem. Glad to be here.
So SLEMCO wants everyone to know that you are prepared for Barry. Let our listeners know and many of your customers know what SLEMCO has already done to prepare and what will happen between now and landfall on Saturday morning.
Okay, well, we have an annual plan that what we do is keep in place, whether it's tornadoes, hurricanes, ice storms, whatever. And we update that once a year, and we just updated it in the last few months, actually. And so we have everything ready to go. We've already had our planning meetings. In fact, we had another one this morning, and I'm sure we'll have another one tomorrow as the course kind of sharpens and we know exactly where it's going to go. And from what we hear, the latest that we've heard, and we still haven't gotten the 4 o'clock update, but from what we've heard now is it's going to kind of follow Lily's path, which pretty much goes right through our system. Actually, that was the only hurricane where I think we had every meter turned off for a period of time. But so these are the kind of things that we have to plan for all the time because you never know what's gonna happen. So we have extra poles, we have extra materials, we have extra contractor crews, we have extra right-of-way crews. We have personnel who will be at the office, at the headquarters office throughout the storm, leading up to the storm. There will be a beehive of activity there, not just field crews, but also administrators, management, and people answering the phones and all of those sorts of things. So we kind of go into crisis mode, and we've done it a lot now, unfortunately, but we really have a good system going.
I was talking with someone earlier about the expected winds that come with a Cat 1, that 74 to 95 mile an hour range. You just mentioned if this turns into a Hurricane Lily and the precautions that y'all had to take in that instance. Can you kind of explain the impact, what kind of impact it could have on power for businesses and residents when you're talking about a Cat 1 hurricane anywhere from 74 to 95 miles an hour?
Sure. And one of the things that I think is important to note for this particular storm, wherever it hits, is that for us here in Acadiana, it's been since 2012 since we've had Isaac. And then before that, it was 2008 that we really had a major hurricane. So the trees and the branches have had a very long time to grow and also to die and rot. So what's going to happen is if the wind doesn't get them, because 75 to 95 miles per hour is pretty significant winds. But the other thing that we have this go round that we didn't really have for Lily is all the storm surge and the extra water. And as you know, when the ground gets really saturated, it doesn't take much wind to knock those trees over, which fall into the lines, which tangle up with the lines, which means we have to go in and actually separate the tree trunks and the branches and all that from the wire. And so that's what's going to take extra time. And right now, because we don't know where it's going to hit, we don't know who's going to be hit hardest, and we don't know where we start first and where we finish up because we don't know yet where it's going to hit. So it's really kind of a guessing game until we know exactly what's going to happen. But the damage could be significant.
Especially with us, as the projections have us, on that east side of the hurricane, on that right side where that's most of your damage comes in.
Right. We're projected as of now to be on the bad side of the storm.
Yeah. And of course, when you look at, the rain and the power going out, you've got those, the floodwater possibilities that come up as well. And these trucks have to still go through those floodwaters if you have an area that's affected to try to get to those areas and fix, which also complicates things as well.
It does, but one thing that we learned in the flood of 2016, when we just have water and no wind, we actually did very well. We didn't have many outages. And most of our trucks are very large. Their four-wheel drive vehicles are larger, the line trucks and the material handlers and the diggers. And so they can pass through, if they can tell where the road is, they can pass. Now, of course, they can't go out in, pastures and stuff like that, but we have boats for that, and we have a marsh buggy, and we have lots of equipment at our disposal. Even if we don't own it or have it, it's on standby already for us to be able to get at a moment's notice so we can do what we have to do. The important thing is that with the water, people have to realize that just because your power is still on, if you've got water up and into your electric sockets, you need to turn your breakers off, your main breaker off, because that's a very dangerous situation.
Yeah, absolutely. We're speaking with SLEMCO's Mary Laurent about the upcoming Barry hurricane that is coming our way. Can you give some contact info for SLEMCO if somebody notices maybe a line falls near their house? What's the best advice in dealing with that, especially in giving you guys a call?
Okay, first of all, you want to stay away from it,
Hmm.
and you want to assume that any line that is down is still energized because it's very common that they are. But you can call us at 1-888-275-3626 to report outages.
And say that one more time.
1-888-275-3626 to report outages. And our customers can also log into their Smart Hub accounts, and they can report it that way. That's our billing portal, and they can report it that way as well. But the main thing is, if you see it, to alert us and let us know, and try to keep people away from it, and always assume that it's energized.
And what do you want to leave listeners with, letting them know as we are in preparation mode right now, what are the best things that they can do to be prepared leading up to the storm? And then once the storm hits, and if it goes as projected, what are some tips that you'd give them?
I think it's very important for every family to take responsibility for their evacuation plan, their communication plan, because, in this day and age, kids don't stay real close to mom and dad like they used to.
Yeah.
Know where your kids are, maybe find friends on their phone so you can pinpoint where they are. Make sure you have a phone charger for your car, so if you lose power at home, you can charge those phones in the car, because we learned doing Rita and Ike and Gustav that the phones didn't work, but texting did. The other thing is, if you have medical needs, that if you have oxygen or CPAP machines or whatever, you need to make sure that you take responsibility for evacuating if you need to, and getting to a place where you'll be safe. Because if this is a Lily or worse, it could be several days, and we've gotten to where we expect everything instantly. But if it's this bad, every family has to take responsibility for their own needs and what they're going to need to do to keep themselves safe, and their pets, and their medications, and their grandparents, and an extended family. And that's really the key thing, is that they need to make sure that they can handle themselves, and then just let us know, and we'll be there as soon as we can.
Mary Laurent with SLEMCO, as again, we continue to wait for Barry to make its arrival. Mary, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you.